Hey y'all, welcome back to the BrittReacts party. It is me, your girl BrittReacts, and guess what? The world's got a new pope. This is Michael Knowles breaking the news. The pope has been chosen. It felt appropriate. Judge your mom, not me.
Habemus Papam. We have a new pope. This conclave was rather short, wrapped up quickly just today, and we have a new pope who was previously known as Cardinal Francis Prevost and now has taken the regnal name Leo XIV. You know, I sometimes say, I hate to say I told you so. I actually called the papal name.
Really?
And this was a name not merely that I was predicting, but that I was hoping for. I've said this for a long time, but then right before, as we were sort of waiting for the conclave to fully wrap up and for the new pope to walk out, I asked on Twitter, I said, what regnal name are you hoping for? I'm hoping for Leo XIV.
That's so interesting. Okay. I am a Christian. I am raised Southern Missionary Baptist. I know diddly squat about the Catholic faith, the religion, the rituals, the traditions. I know nothing. This has been such a educational experience for me because I don't know the year or the time the last pope that we just lost was selected, but it was before social media. And so I certainly had no easy access to it. I never really needed or wanted to know about it, but I am so just enamored by the process of it all. It's been a big thing all over social media. And I want to get to one thing that I've seen. But first, I didn't know what a conclave was. I had no idea about the black versus the white smoke. I had no idea about the process, the how this whole thing works. I don't know what I ever thought about, how. I think maybe I just thought there's one flagship Catholic church and, it's a succession. So the Pope passes away and the one underneath, I didn't realize it's a whole thing. It's so interesting to me. And I would love for you guys to educate me in the comments, fill it to the brim, to the wall. I want to know everything. I don't understand, what is the process? How do they pick it? What is the conclave? Do they eat? Do they sleep? What do they wear? What's going on inside? What's the significance of the smoke being black and white? Okay, so the two things that I saw that were going crazy viral was the seagull who was on the roof when the smoke turned white and everyone was cheering. And everyone was imagine being that seagull and you thinking everyone's cheering for you. This seagull was the main character, which I thought was hilarious. No disrespect to the process in Catholicism. I just that's been all over. And then two, so many people were of course, somehow Trump is dressed as the Pope last week on social media. And now the Pope is picked as an American. And this is a prime example. I say this all the time as someone who is, I'm not a supporter of left or right, red or blue. I am a supporter of right and wrong. And so this is not me saying y'all get over what Trump did. I do think him dressing as the Pope is blasphemous and disrespectful. But this is one of those cases where people just don't like something or someone and they don't do their research. Because if you just did a little more digging, you realize this man is very anti kind of Trump's administration and pro a lot more liberal things. If you just do a little digging. So it's just seeing everybody up in arms. But again, it's just what do y'all call it? The Trump derangement syndrome? I guess it was shining bright like a diamond in this one. Okay, anyway, I also decided to have Michael Knowles give me the information on this because I had just reacted to him recently with what's Brett's twin? Ben Shapiro, and they were doing Trump impression ratings. So I was why not stick with Michael? He seemed nice enough. All right, I'm going to shut up now and let Michael continue.
I said, what regnal name are you hoping for? I'm hoping for Leo XIV. And then they came out, announced the Pope and the name in Latin, and it was Leo XIV. This is a good sign.
I need the significance of this.
The reason Leo XIV is a good sign is because Leo the 13th is one of the great popes. I have actually a beautiful rosary that was given by a friend to me from Leo the 13th's pontificate. He
What's a
was
pontificate?
wonderful. He's the first pope that ever appeared on film, by the way, because he was very, very old, right when moving pictures were coming out. And so you can actually see a little film of Pope Leo blessing people. He is beloved by conservatives. John Paul II loved Leo the 13th. Leo the 13th was very strong against socialism. Leo the 13th was strong in tradition, orthodoxy, Thomistic philosophy and theology. He also was a wonderful man to articulate Catholic social teaching. So when John Paul II was writing Centesimus Annus, he was writing about an encyclical by Leo the 13th, which is called Rerum Novarum, and about these.
He is using so many words and terms. Y'all, I'm saying, fill me to the brim. I need all the information. Okay. Was I wrong? Because I definitely read that this new pope was like not into the things that Trump is into, or the way he's doing them, at least. Let me see. I'm Googling. The new pope doesn't seem to be a huge fan of Trump or JD fans. Is he a woke oh, Lord, here we go. Here's what he's posted about politics and the Trump administration on social media. Oh, Lord, they done already pulled the man's tweets out. Lord. See, I knew it wasn't losing my mind. He shared criticism of J.D. Vance and Trump's immigration policies. Okay, so this is interesting. So he's also posted on gun control and abortions following a mass shooting. He reposted a statement calling for increased access to medical health care and stronger, sensible gun control laws. Okay, so this is interesting. His voting records show he is registered in Chicago suburb. I mean, they have dug up on this man. He's voted in both Republican and Democratic primaries over the years. He's voted in the Republican primaries in 2012, 14, and 16, including the presidential primaries in 2012 and 16. He last voted in a Democratic primary in 2010. Okay. In a 2023 interview with the Vatican News, the new pope was asked about the relationship between bishops and social media. Says social media can be an important tool to communicate the gospel message, reaching millions of people. We must prepare ourselves to use social media well. I am afraid that sometimes this preparation has been lacking. I mean, he sounds sensible to me. Maybe, that's all it is that he maybe isn't so far-leaning anyway. He's more about sensibility. Another Reddit thread says, this new pope was specifically chosen to stop MAGA and Trump. It's like, here we go. What's the truth?
It's kind of an encyclical by Leo the 13th, which is called Rerum Novarum, and about these kind of new ideas and these new systems in politics. And in Centesimus Annus, John Paul II was saying communism's terrible. Free markets are an efficient way to allocate resources. This is the conservatives' pope, right? We really love this. Okay, so that's all a good sign. But I mentioned Catholic social teaching because there are a lot of other signs about the new pope that raise some eyebrows. He's from Chicago, and a priest friend of mine said that nothing good ever comes out of Chicago. He's joking a little bit, but he's from Chicago. Some liberal prelates and priests and lay people seem to be really excited about this. He mentioned Pope Francis a lot in his first speech to everyone, to the whole crowd in St. Peter's. Talked a lot about Francis, talked a lot about the synodal way. Synodal way being a way of inclusivity and listening and dialogue, and many conservatives and traditional people in the church are a little worried about this, that this could water down doctrine, that this is ambiguous, this opens the gate to innovation. The synodal way is the way that Pope Francis was advocating. So that's all a little bit troubling. Some people are pointing out that the new Pope, Pope Leo XIV, when he was Cardinal Prevost, wrote a piece going after J.D. Vance.
Okay, let me just stop here. Again, I am not privy to Catholicism, and I honestly feel like I've even said it here before you guys correct me. I'm not even 100% sure like what exactly they believe. I just know there are, a lot of saints, and I know that Jesus is on the cross still, like inside the church, like as symbolically, and I'm not sure what that means to their belief. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, respectfully and kindly. I am not in any way trying to disrespect or share incorrect news. But, and I've talked about this a lot in my faith, Jesus was a man of tolerance, understanding, and love. And if we're talking about it's leaving me the way that he's talking about, but he said Pope Francis also was that way, leading in tolerance and dialogue and understanding. It's like exactly what God sent his son to earth to do. And so why would any Christian, conservative or not, have a qualm or a concern about that? The world is changing. I understand Catholicism is definitely a belief that is very rooted. It's rooted in its history and its foundational principles. I understand. I respect that. The world is a much different world than it was during biblical times and every time in between. But I mean, I say all that to say is like, why would we be concerned or upset about a pope who is just wanting to be love and be light and be understanding to all people from all walks of life? Jesus hated no one. Jesus shunned no one. He judged no one. He actually healed, loved on, and ministered to the broken and the criminals and the ostracized and the people who didn't believe in him. He loved on them. And so I just don't understand why that would be such a red flag for the conservative end of politics. I don't know. Help me out. Feel free to talk to me about it in the comments. Again, respectfully, I don't mean any disrespect. If I said anything wrong or out of pocket, it was just out of innocent ignorance because I was raised very differently on the Christian spectrum.
Prevost wrote a piece going after J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance specifically for articulating the Ordo Amoris, the hierarchy of love, the Ordo Caritatis in the language of St. Thomas Aquinas. So maybe that's not a great sign. Some people are wondering, I guess I should mention, we're 3 minutes in, I haven't mentioned, this is the first American Pope ever.
Yeah, right.
From the United States, that is. Second Latin American Pope. Now we've had two in a row. He's American, but he's also a dual citizen of Peru.
I did read that.
Some are wondering, was this Pope picked in part to provide a counter political balance to Trump and to the turn against mass migration in the West? And so again, we don't know what the cardinals were thinking exactly in there. I'll leave on a little sign of hope, though. The name is a very hopeful sign. The fact that he walked out in the formal vestments is a hopeful sign.
Okay.
The formal vestments, something that Pope Francis didn't really like, but the formal vestments are important. They're actually, I think, a sign of humility because you're recognizing it's not about the personality of the individual, but he's taking on a new name. He is the Bishop of Rome. He is the Vicar of Christ. He is subduing his personality and maybe some of his personal preferences to the magisterium, to orthodoxy, to the church.
Okay. This is an educational moment. And again, I'm going to try to understand it in the way that I can break it down, and feel free to correct me. So as a Christian, you profess your belief in Christ. They call it becoming saved. And they say you die to your old self and you become part of the kingdom, right? And so your flesh dies and you're reborn under Christ. And so it seems like that's what this garment or something of the other that he puts on is indicative of, is that he is no longer who he was walking in the flesh his whole life. He is now taken on his new role, and that represents that. Is that what that means? Help me in the comments, please. I love to learn.
And maybe some of his personal preferences to the magisterium, to orthodoxy, to the church. That's what one hopes for that kind of a signal. I think we saw that a lot with Pope Benedict. Also, he gave the blessing in Latin, which is a good sign for continuity. However, there is some cause for eyebrows being raised. There is some cause for concern about things that he has said on LGBT issues, there's some cause to wonder what he thinks about the traditional liturgy. Really, with this pick, who no one was guessing, he hasn't said very much. We don't really know. And people who tell you they know for sure exactly what he thinks and what he'll do are full of it.
Oh.
This is someone that no one saw coming, that we don't know a lot about.
Okay.
There are some good signs. There are some bad signs. And he's a young man.
He's young.
69 years old, the Holy Father.
That's young for a pope, right?
He will most likely be pope for a very, very long time, decades. And we will have to see how that pontificate unfolds. I have a lot more to say about some of the signs we're getting out of the new pope on LGBT issues, on the environment, on tradition, on the very structure of the church. I have a lot more to say about this, but I've gone overtime for my instant reaction. So if you want to hear more about what this new papacy means, this new pontificate means, you got to watch the show tomorrow. See you there on the Michael Knowles Show.
Cool. I like Michael Knowles. He seems like I don't know, there's just something likable about him. Like, he just seems fair. I don't know. Okay. I think he was the right person for me to react to because it wasn't sarcastic. It was very factual. And I mean, perhaps he's reporting on it because he did come off as a Catholic, like someone in the Catholic faith, like a believer. This is also interesting to me. Let me know what you think about the new pope not really having a public stance either way. Are you worried about that? Is that a good sign? I've kind of asked all the questions I have that I think will help me understand a little bit more, at least in a preliminary place. This interests me. This topic really does interest me. So if you have anything you want me to react to learn more, if you want to see me learn more, let me know. Drop it down below. Again, let's be respectful of all beliefs and point of views. Oh, this was the other thing I was going to say. I love that perspective of age. Like, this pope is 69. He's still very young. Like, because y'all know these kids like to tell me I'm old and I'm 36 years old. So I love that sentiment of like, this man has years ahead of him. And so, yeah, age is wisdom. Okay. Age is wisdom. I'm learning every day. I feel like I learn that more and more on this channel. All right, guys, I enjoyed reacting to this. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope you have the day that you deserve. Toodaloo.